hot topics in crypto, but we really kind of need to talk about how things in crypto have changed forever and really how serious it is. I've been in the industry since the end of 2017, still pretty new. There's people that came way, way before me, but I really kind of watched this industry mold. And every single cycle, we get more mature, more mainstream, and more things continue to happen. And initially, when you started, like back in crypto 2017, at least for me, everything was kind of gamified. Like we were just out here clicking buttons, making money, losing a lot of money, all of that type of stuff. And no one really took our industry seriously. I don't even think the industry hit $1 trillion in 2017. I would have to go back and look at the charts. But moral of the story is we're currently at the entire market cap is currently at around $4 trillion. Reason why that's relevant is because we're still a baby. We're still a big, big, big baby compared to traditional finance, to stocks, to bonds, to treasuries, to all that stuff. We're teeny tiny. And this year in 2025, things really shifted. Obviously, we got the pro crypto president, the pro crypto SEC, pro crypto CFTC, all of it. Like things are moving, accelerating extremely fast. But we're also seeing an inflow of companies create crypto treasuries or Bitcoin treasuries. And the reason why this is important is because these guys are not playing around. These guys have access to capital that most retail don't, and that's okay. But it's important to kind of watch what they do. But these guys are buying a crypto, or guys and gals are buying crypto like crazy. And the reason why the reason why I'm streaming early is because I got to catch a flight to go to Pebble Beach for Auto Week. I got something to do, and I'll be able to update you guys on that soon, and kind of relevant to this video. But anyways, big money's coming into the game. It's not just gamification anymore. It's not just click. Well, you still technically can click buttons, but at the same time, crypto is not. It's not what it was last cycle, and it's not what it was in 2017. And the reason why that matters is there is gonna start to become red tape that inhibits people from doing things to an extent. I mean, you can still hold Bitcoin yourself. You can still utilize DeFi and all of that. But at the end of the day, an asset like Bitcoin, we're seeing a lot of these treasury companies come in and swoop up like crazy, like absolute crazy. And the reason why that's important is we do know that Bitcoin is a finite asset. There will always be Bitcoin available for purchase. Like, we generally talk about, oh, money's running out or the Bitcoin's running out in exchanges, the supply, blah, blah, blah. But people are always going to sell. There's always going to be a little bit of Bitcoin to purchase. But with supply essentially drying up, that means number goes up. So it's going to cost a lot more money. And me personally, Bitcoin is one of those assets that I do want to hold even after this cycle, primarily because I'm really kind of watching what the big boys are doing. They're buying this asset, they're taking debt out against it, they're using it to get loans and all different types of things. So I think it's a wonderful asset for that. And some of you might be asking, well, what about XRP? What about Ethereum? What about HBAR? What about all the other stuff? Right now, we're not necessarily seeing a whole lot of that happen. With the Ethereum treasuries, we're seeing these guys buy Ethereum, own a certain amount of supply because they're staking it, and they're earning essentially passive rewards, passive income by staking it themselves, kind of like dividends. And we're going to see that happen with with a lot of these other treasury companies in the future. They are going to be buying different crypto assets, and they're going to be staking them. They're going to be getting that passive income, And a lot of this stuff, some has finite supply, some does not have finite supply. And that's also important to know. But moral of the story is the United States of America is really just kind of leading the charge in crypto. I mean, Dubai's still light years ahead. A lot of different parts in Asia still light years ahead. What we're seeing happen, we're seeing this complete shift into this teeny, teeny, tiny sector that was once a niche, once a teeny, tiny niche, really kind of transform to mainstream. Everybody wants in, and these guys can't get in fast enough. And I know earlier this week, we saw a little bit of market manipulation, which I want to address. The reason why I want to address that is because people weren't really paying attention to the headlines. And that's why critical thinking is super, super, super important. And the reason why it's super important is that we do know that we had Cynthia Loomis talk about the Bitcoin strategic reserves, et cetera, and how that they were going to acquire more Bitcoin. Because the initial news story was that the U.S. was not going to add any more Bitcoin to the reserve, which is not true. They were going to take the confiscated Bitcoin. And what they were also going to do is they were essentially going to rebalance their investments, their portfolios, and maybe use money from tariffs, XYZ, whatever. So the market tanked. And the reason why that's so important to pay attention to is because we're getting so closely correlated with traditional finance news. And that caused the entire market to dump, which those of us in crypto, we've been here, we're used to that volatility. But at the same time, if you're somebody that's actually actively trading crypto, I think it's important to start paying attention to mainstream events, because that is impacting our markets, which in the past it did, but it didn't. And now it's more so. So really the moral of the story is that what the United States of America is doing, especially with the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, they're not adding it, they're not using taxpayer dollars to buy assets, because they don't want to add to that $37 trillion worth of debt that we have. But they're going to be using confiscated Bitcoin, and they're going to be rebalancing their portfolios like civilized human beings. That's what we should do, right? But the moral of the story is the market dropped based off of that. And a lot of people didn't necessarily see that coming. So with crypto right now, I think it's just incredibly important to kind of take a step back and kind of get a refresh on what goes on with traditional markets and kind of apply that knowledge to what we do in crypto. And I know it sounds insane because we're supposed to be talking about decentralized systems, but at the same time, these decentralized systems are coming into the centralized market. I mean, we're utilizing a lot of technology, RWAs, for Forex and stocks and bonds and like all these different things. We use oracles, we use Chainlink, we're using Hedera, we're using, Ripple's entering into the banking system like crazy. So I think it's just really important to, get a little bit of a refresh what happens in traditional finance. Understand that you're not going to be able to beat the big boys, but you can follow alongside with what they're doing and come up with a plan that makes best sense for you. And I don't know, it really just feels surreal. It feels surreal to see the United States of America create a Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Surreal that the commissioner, Hester Peirce, issued a statement, on Ripple's side, against the frivolous lawsuit that the previous SEC had filed before. We have a pro-crypto chair, Paul Atkins, that is just like loves crypto, loves innovation, wants it to thrive. But we're in a very different time than we were before. Are we still going to have these decentralized systems? Yes. Are you still going to have access to get money? Yes. Is it going to start to get a little bit more complex as we're essentially transitioning over to traditional finance? Yes. So what do? Well, we self-educate. Best places I know to get free resources, Binance has got a wonderful blog, and then Investopedia. Both are free. And we want to take advantage of a lot of these free resources and dedicate about 10 minutes a day. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be an amazing trader overnight. I'm not telling any of you to become a trader, actively trade. There's a lot of different resources that you can use now to manage your portfolio so that you don't have to stress out. Like AI is going to play a really big role in that. Plus, we're going to have all these crypto financial advisors that are essentially going to come in from traditional finance, because we're allowed to invest our 401k money into crypto. So anyways, you guys, I just wanted to hop on here. Have a wonderful weekend. Take some time to pat yourself on the back for being as early as you are. And also to try to keep up with everything, but at the same time, make sure you're taking care of yourself and also educating your mind and expanding your mind on traditional financial systems and how crypto is going to fit into all of this. I think it's going to be incredibly important moving forward and whatnot. So anyways, sending y'all love and light. I'll get you guys my little update from Pebble Beach, what I'm doing over there later when I'm allowed to. But anyways, sending y'all love and light. Have a wonderful weekend with your families. Bye-bye.